Hi guys, as you may or may not know, I am a fellow landscaper. So I've been running my landscaping business for 10 years this February. So we're celebrating our 10th year in business. I run it with my husband Mike and it all looks great. We've won multiple awards for business and for installation. And we've got a good team around us. There's 4 of us employed and we use a handful of subcontractors that we know, like and trust. But it wasn't always plain sailing. So around 3 years ago, the business looked slightly different, and it was a bigger business that almost came crashing down completely. So I'm here to talk about my story and how you can avoid the pitfalls that I fell into, and also what you can do to make your life easier going forward. So rewind 3 years ago, I already had a 2-year-old child and I was heavily pregnant with my second. I had 10 people employed and I had 3 people in the office running all the marketing, and we had to generate a significant amount of leads every single month. And then we also had quite a few teams of lads. I think we had 3 or 4 teams on the ground. One solely doing artificial grass, the rest doing landscaping, and my husband doing all the design work on as well. My husband became a sort of busy idiot, really. He was running around quoting, designing, trying to close everything, just so that everyone could basically live and have a wage every month. We had a yard, we had multiple vehicles, we had lots of tools. And then we found out that we weren't actually making any money. And this is, there was a few things why this happened. One, our checking up on people's workmanship slipped because we grew too quickly. So my husband was running around looking at everyone's job, not as much as he should have been. And so the workmanship slid slightly and a couple of the teams weren't performing as they should have been doing. So it meant going back to put mistakes right, and that was costly to the business. Secondly, I took my eye off the cash flow. That's always a bad mistake, but with one child and another child on the way, I was less in the office. I wasn't on the ball. I really took my eye off the ball figures wise and took my eye off the cash flow, and that's never a good place to be in. So I didn't actually realise that we weren't making any money until it was almost too late. Thirdly, I feel like we just scaled too quickly. So we grew the business massively in a really short period of time. We took on an office space, we grew the team hugely, and sometimes, and I think you guys have probably been there over the years, is you get an influx of work and you don't want to say no, so you don't turn it down. So the only other option is to try and recruit as quickly as possible, which means sometimes you don't get the right type of people working for you. And that's what happened to us. Just so you know, we traded through it, and yes, we had to get rid of the office. Yes, we had to sell our vans, and we did have to move our premises back home, which isn't ideal, but actually it saves a significant sum of money a month. And we did have to let go of almost all our work staff, bar 2. So it was hard. It was stressful. We spent a lot of time crying, I suppose, at the time, because we thought the business that we'd built to this stage, we're going to lose it. But we did trade through, and we've turned it around. And why I'm telling you this is because there are 3 things you need to do to avoid this happening. One is you need to plan. So you need to plan your year. And if that means that you're going to grow exponentially, then you need to plan for that growth. You need to have a plan in place that's ambitious, but also realistic and achievable. And you need to communicate this to your team. Number 2 is a cash flow forecast. I think this is the most basic step in business that I really stopped doing for some unknown reason, and it bit me in the bum. So your cash flow forecast is key. You need to do this regularly, and I mean at least every few days, if you can't do that, once a week at least, just to make sure that the costs you think are going out of the business are real and accurate compared to your bank balance. And also the jobs you've got booked in are real and accurate compared to what's coming in inquiry wise, and also to forward plan. So you'll know when you've had an inquiry and you've done the quote and you've seen the customer and they've accepted, then you'll be able to start planning months in advance, because they don't always book immediately. As we well know, it is a couple of months lead time mostly. And you can book them in and pre-prepare. And then you can also see where the deficits are going to come along. You can put in your projected VAT bill. You can put in your projected corporation tax bill if you're a limited company. You can pop in all your wages, and it's just a basic document that makes sure that you're not going into the red. And if you are going into the red, you need to significantly think, is there anything we can do to generate more customers? If so, have we got the teams in place that can service these customers? And then what's the cost of the marketing going to be, or the extra labour going to be? Because you have to factor all this in as well if you are going to take on more staff. And also if you're going to run adverts and paid advertising, paid marketing avenues. So that's point number 2. And point number 3 is to have a solid marketing plan. The marketing plan should be linked to your cash flow and your goals, your plan for the year, because ultimately you need to know what you have to do each month, each week, each day to generate the number of customers you need. And again, looking at conversion rates, because if you only convert at 10%, you'll need to generate more inquiries to ensure you get that 10% conversion. Or you need to look at improving your conversion rate. All these things need to be taken into account and can be plotted on your marketing plan. Otherwise, I hope this has been inspirational for you. I hope this has helped you if you finding yourself in the same situation. Either way, I hope you've enjoyed this blog. If you've got any questions, hit us up on Instagram, or just join and become a member and find out more about everything I spoke about in the planning topic.